Good evening. I'd like to call to order the Town of Riverhead Industrial Development Agency Board meeting of November 8th, 2021. It is now 5:06 p.m. And first matter of business, I'd like to have the board consider the proposed agenda. And if there's no comments, I'd like someone to motion to accept.
I'll motion to accept.
I'll second.
All right, that takes care of the proposed agenda. And now I'd like a consideration of the minutes from our last meeting on September 14th.
We need to vote on that proposed agenda?
I thought, you're right. You want to vote on that? Okay, we vote on that.
I
So-
kept going too.
Huh? Well, should we have a vote on the agenda then?
Yeah.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Moving on to the minutes from September 14th, 2021. Are there any comments from the board?
No?
Could someone propose
I'll
to
make a
accept them?
motion to accept the minutes.
Somebody,
I'll second.
okay. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Moving on to the item number 4 is a consideration of Resolution 3821. This resolution is to, in effect, ratify our calling of a supplemental public hearing for Island Water Park. And at this time, I'd like to ask the board if they have any comments on the resolution.
No?
No comments? Would I have a motion to approve the ratification?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
And then I'll call a vote. All in favor of the resolution? Aye. Now, with that, I will call the public hearing to order at,
Well, we need to recess this meeting.
oh, okay, we'll recess this meeting. Sorry, I'm getting my procedures right here.
Sorry.
Oh,
I'll make a
should've put
motion
that on
to,
there.
Basically, move to recess the IDA board meeting.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So we will recess the IDA board meeting for the purpose of opening the public hearing on Island Water Park's application. This evening is to have a hearing on acceptance of public comment for the application of financial assistance from Island Water Park Corporation, or Corp, perhaps. I don't know if it's Corp or Corporation. I have on file an affidavit certifying the publication of the following notice of public hearing in the October 28, 2021 issue of the News Review as the official newspaper of the Riverhead Industrial Development Agency is so designated by the Board of Directors at its meeting of January 4th, 2021. I make the notice of public hearing and the resolution calling said hearing part of the record of this proceeding of Island Water Park Corp. Furthermore, I make a part of the record of this proceeding the affidavit of Tracy Stark James as Executive Director of the Riverhead Industrial Development Agency, attesting to the service of the notice of public hearing in this matter upon the chief fiscal officers of the affected jurisdictions as required by the laws of the state of New York. Would the representatives of Island Water Park now step forward and present to the board the application for financial assistance?
Yes,
And
good
please
evening.
state your name
Yes.
and address for the record.
Good evening. My name is Daniel Baker from the law firm Sir Tillman, Ballin, Adler, and Hyman, located at 90 Merrick Avenue, East Meadow, New York, 11554. Again, good evening. I'm here representing both Island Water Park Corp. and Island Water Park Operations LLC, the co-applicants. As the board should recall, we were here in September at that month's meeting where the initial public hearing was conducted and we gave a full presentation. I would certainly rely on that and also take any questions if there are any from the board. I would like to just bring up a couple of things that, some status updates since then. As far as construction is going, I believe we explained to you, quite a considerable amount of the work is done already, but still a lot to go, to the tune of about $6 to $8 million worth of work. One significant thing has taken place and is in, which is the wave pool, which is part of the indoor portion of the facility. It's quite impressive. I saw it as it was happening and have seen it since it's done. So it just again shows the significant effort that the applicants are making to move the project forward and continue on. One other thing I will also point out in conjunction with staff and council, we've tweaked the job numbers a little bit based upon the nature of the jobs. And again, you might recall that there are going to be a variety of different jobs here, but because of the outdoor nature of the facility, a good amount of these jobs will be seasonal. So even though we looked at them as full-time equivalent jobs during that time frame, meaning the warm months when the outdoor operation is open, after further discussion, we all made an agreed-upon determination that maybe they should be considered part-time, just for reporting purposes and compliance later on, as we have to do annually and report back to the state. So as a result of that, the original number, which was at approximately 350 proposed jobs, has now come down to 283 and a half FTEs. Again, the applicants believe this is a conservative number and certainly hope that there will be more than this and significantly more ultimately, but this is the number we're coming at. Again, it's a significant number of jobs that will be added to the workforce here in the town that don't exist at this time, so we still believe this is quite positive. So with that, if there are any questions, we're happy to take them. And I do have a representative from Island Water Park.
That's
If-
also within the first 2 years.
Yeah, that's in the first 2 years.
All right.
Tony, any questions? Bob?
Yeah, so 283, that's right through the winter?
That would be year-round, not all of them, yes.
Year-round, so second, after 2 years?
After 2 years, correct.
Anything else?
No.
Just a couple of questions. Will the facility become fully operational all at once, or is it opening in sections?
No, probably not. So the anticipated completion date at this point is March or April of 2022. That will obviously, not be a warm enough time to get the full outdoor operation going. So the intention is to get the inside portion of the operation going, and then within a few months, or a couple of months, as it starts getting warmer, get the outdoor operation going. So the intention is by summertime to have it fully operational.
I do have a question. I'm just curious, are you going to be hiring anybody under 18 years of age?
I don't know the answer, but I can ask Ken Myers to elaborate. Yeah, come on. Just state your name.
Yep, done this a couple of times now. How are you? I'm Ken Myers. I'm from Lindenhurst, New York. Do I get the exact, 619? No,
Fine.
okay. I won't even come to my house. So just really quick to the prior, when we open in March, which is our goal, we are ready to open the entire park at that time because we already have the inflatable aqua park, which is the largest in the world, which is going to be a major attraction. It's actually in storage on site right now. So the answer is we could immediately open with massive attractions outside. What was the other question you asked?
So, yeah, the question, Ken, that I have is, I'm just curious, are you going to be hiring people under 18 years of
Yes.
age?
Yes.
Okay. No, I think that's great.
Yeah, no, we're going to go down, I think, to certainly to 17, potentially 16, depending on the limitations. I'm sure you're familiar, but if you aren't, there are vast differences between 15 and a half, 16, and 17. But 17 is 100%. I put 16 near that as well.
Great, thank you.
Any other questions for me?
The only other thought I was having was, how do you perceive this ramping up? I saw some mentions of the potential number of customers you could have in a given day, which certainly looked pretty significant.
Yeah, that's
But
substantial.
how do you see this
We do.
rolling out?
The way we would turn this out is, and I've done a lot of openings on parks, not parks, but restaurants and hotels. You start out with a soft open, VIPs, first responders, town hall, police officers, all those things. You exercise the staff. They start learning, let them use both the restaurant, the facilities. You bring in camps, help out some disabled groups who bring a lot of people through at our expense, free of charge for them, get some exposure, which is good. We would do the park at, limited attractions as you're building up, and then as you work through that, which takes about a month, then you go for a regular open, like a soft regular open, where you limit flow of guests. And as you get better and better, you open up as much as you can to bring in every person you can grab into the building.
So by 4th of July weekend, you'll be
We would be, I'm
rock and
nervous
rolling.
about that, but yes, that will be full bore.
Okay.
The numbers will be very, very, the difference would be thousands of guests, certainly thousands upon thousands of guests a week would be the difference in those.
a week.
Yeah, yeah, and potentially a couple of thousand a day, depending on how hot the iron is when we strike. I think it's going to be very popular. We get press now that we're turning down, and I think it's just going to grow from there. And word of mouth, with how much fun and the size of the attractions and what we do, it's going to be very, very exciting. It's going to be busy.
When will you start hiring?
Oh, we're going to start in December.
In the summer?
December.
Oh, December, okay.
No, we've
Have you
already
had people
hired
calling already?
we have our executive team and then
Right.
our upper management team.
Right.
We have both of those. And then you start hiring in December with an understanding that it's gonna, it's gonna take 30 days. We'll onboard them. They'll be hired as employees. They get 3 hours just to onboard. And then what you do is you bring them in for training, right? Once we have our 100% everything ready to go, you bring them in for training about 6 weeks before the park opens up. And you do them in schedules of 2 weeks, and there's, you show them the culture, the safety training, all those things to get them where they're up to speed, and we open flawlessly. Because you want to make sure that your guest experience is as good as possible when you first open. This way you get a lot of repeat guests.
And just to reconfirm, you're aware that there are obligations to the agency, should you be granted the financial assistance, to report every year, to keep track of your employment, your capital investments, and sales tax.
Absolutely.
For sales tax is approximately 2 years long.
All right, that's perfect, sure.
Okay. Other questions from the board? If there's no other questions from the board, I was just wondering if there's members of the public here who would like to comment on the application in any particular way? Anyone? Well, so I guess there's no other comments, and the board has no more questions.
I do just want to, for the record, acknowledge that correspondence was received from the Riverhead Central School District and the Manorville Fire Department, and it was forwarded to the board prior, and you all received that, right? I double-checked the email, so.
Okay. Well, with that, then, I think we could probably close the public hearing.
I'll make a motion to close.
I'll second.
Everyone in favor, say aye.
Aye.
In favor. The meeting, hearing is closed. Thank you very much for coming, and
5:17.
appreciate the time and effort to present to us. Thank you. With that, now I guess I'd like to move to reopen the,
I'll make the motion to reopen the IDA meeting.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
So we can now proceed with the IDA meeting. I think at this point in time, everyone here representing Island,
Well, there's another resolution at the end. If they want to stay, they can.
which one are we thinking of?
But there's no other further comment. Okay.
Okay, all right. Fine. So that would take us now to correspondence. And Tracy, I understand we have no correspondence to discuss?
None that I'm bringing forward.
Fine. So be it. That brings us to the treasurer's report, and resolution 3821. Treasurer?
Okay, so resolution 3821, authorizing the publication of notice of a public hearing with respect to
What?
the, wait, that's what it says on here.
You're
Yes.
reading the treasurer's report?
Well, it says, there's a resolution of 3821.
Yes.
What's that?
There's two resolutions, Tracy, for the treasurer's
Yeah,
report.
why?
Oh, gosh, I'm sorry, yes. And I have a comment to that. I marked on mine. I skipped numbers here, so it's going to be resolution number 39 to adopt the treasurer's report, and then 39A for the budget, please.
Aha.
My apologies.
Okay.
But before we jump to that immediately, Bob, do we actually have a treasurer's report per se?
Yes.
Yes.
I think you might have one there.
I have to dig it out. Give me a second. Okay, I think this is it. So the balance from People's United Bank checking account as of October 31st, 2021 was $27,027.13. The investment balance at October 31st, 2021 was as follows: $45,598.65 in a municipal money market account bearing interest with an annual rate of Interest was $3.63 for the month of October 2021. Revenue for the month of October 2021 included interest earnings of $6.13. Expenses for the month of October 2021 totaled $15,967.26.
Okay.
Get a motion to approve the treasurer's report?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Thank you. Thank you.
All right.
All right, so now I have to.
Bob,
find-
that now brings us to the renumbered resolutions.
Yes. So we're on, we have two, 39? and-
Yes, 3921 and 39A21.
I have 39A21.
That's all I have.
And you take your one out of your pile that says 38 on it.
Oh,
That's 3821 is in your pile there.
Got
It's
it.
actually 3921.
That's
Here you go. 39.
Okay. So you want me to read these resolutions that we vote on?
It's just to adopt the proposed budget. You could just read the title.
Okay, so 3921 is a resolution authorizing the publication of notice of a public hearing with respect.
What?
No.
No.
Wait a minute, so why, just change this to this one, what?
That's right.
I thought I had everything in order.
No, I'm not sure, Tracy.
I have this one.
That-
I
That's,
39A.
Is this what we're doing?
that's what you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what, Jim, there's no 39. So, resolution adopting the proposed budget for fiscal year January 1st, 22 through 12/31/22, and ratifying submission to Paris.
I'll make the motion to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And then the second resolution?
Oh, that was it. Oh,
Well,
there's
there's
No,
40.
the treasurer's report was number 1,
Yeah.
which Anthony and Lori motioned to approve. And then the second resolution, 39A, was the budget.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
I
But
got
now
three.
it's also referencing 40. You
Yeah.
see that?
Oh, that's a typo.
Yeah, I got confused.
Okay.
Okay,
Rush, that's my problem.
so the treasurer's report is complete then.
Correct.
Yes.
All right, committee reports. Lori, the governance report seems to be the only one due today.
Okay, the governance committee met virtually on July 7th, and we reviewed our existing policies as they relate to housing projects to see if we wanted to make any adjustments. We recommended to the full board that they consider the Lenape project, which I think we'll be doing today. And we also discussed putting together a report on our existing housing projects to see the status of operations for those. So that was about it.
Okay? Any comments on that? Is there a motion to accept the report?
Make a motion.
I'll second.
No, I don't think you need to.
Oh, okay, all in favor? Aye. You don't need it? Done. Okay, old business then. The first one, Tracy, is now Resolution 4021.
Consideration of authorizing financial assistance to Island Water Park, 4021.
This is the one marked red line, correct?
Right.
Yes.
Okay. All right,
I'll make a motion.
any discussion on this resolution? At this point in time? No? Okay, motion then to pass the resolution? Was that?
No, I just wanted to, the discussion part of it, I just wanted to say that I wish the project much success, but I'm going to be voting no on providing IDA benefits to it.
Okay. And the other voters?
Do we have a motion and a second on the floor?
I did make a motion.
I think
I made a motion.
Okay,
All right,
ask for motion.
Jim made a motion and Bob
Second.
seconded?
Yep.
Okay.
So all in favor?
aye.
Aye. Nay.
Opposed.
Opposed. 3-1.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Right. have two more resolutions here that you've put to us, Tracy. On the Resolution 4121, to call a hearing with respect to Lenape/DNF Development Group.
Right, so we, in starting the process of transition to council, our new policy is to have a completed application in hand, not reviewed, not vetted, and not done a cost-benefit analysis, but we have the application in a significant form enough to supply to the board and decide whether it's eligible to be heard for a public hearing. So that's what the next two resolutions are.
Okay.
The applicants are in the audience if you have any questions, but they have done their brief presentations to you in a prior meeting.
Right.
Right. Now, the first one, 4121, this is with respect to which project is this again?
This is
Tracy?
Doctor's Path,
Okay, the Doctor's Path Housing Project.
correct.
All right.
Oh,
There was one change in the application from when they made their presentation at the last meeting, and at that point, they were talking about extending the pilot for like 2.5 years, and now they only want to extend it for 2 years.
Well, actually, it was, and then plus a 20, right?
Well, that's a different,
At-
2 years
at
from
this
now, there'll
time.
be, different, but for now, the only request is for a 2-year extension to the end of,
To be concurrent with the HUD contract.
yeah, so,
And that creates the synchronization they needed?
and they're doing renovations as well, they've included that in here.
But I thought that, okay, but the extension was to match up with their existing arrangement with HUD, was that
HUD,
right?
correct.
Correct.
And this 2 years opposed to 2.5 years, does that then in effect? We're good?
This is what they felt was sufficient.
We could ask Jessica if you like.
Okay.
Jessica, thank you.
Evening. My name is Jessica Leese. I'm an attorney with Vercelli Dean in Toronto with offices at 333 Earl Livington Boulevard, Uniondale, New York. So basically, the HAP contract, the current HAP contract without the renewal goes until 2023. At this time, we're just seeking the 2 years. With their own equity, DNF has been already putting renovations in the building. So they already invested at this point $277,938 in interior renovations to about half of the units. And with their own equity, they are continuing to they will commit to an additional $165,000 over the next 2 years. The purpose that we're asking for this 2-year extension is to continue the pilot so that at the current pilot rate with a possible escalator, so that they can get financing in place to secure financing and come up with a long-term capital plan for a long-term renovations, including, and I know this was discussed, exterior renovations to the building and additional interior renovations. And that would be over a long-term period, but they do need to secure financing for that. So this 2-year extension would basically be for them to put together this plan to come back to the board. But for the time being, they're seeking to just continue the current terms of the pilot.
So Tracy, when would this end officially, the 2-year extension?
I think it's March 20,
Well, originally, the pilot would end in December
Oh, December,
31st
right.
of this year, of '21. They've asked to extend it to December 31, '23.
it's our understanding, as was discussed in the prior presentation, that the HUD contract, HAP contract becomes null and void or is necessary to have a pilot in order for it to be legitimate?
We'll be able to pay it,
Oh,
be able to pay it.
because the HUD contract restricts or limits how much they can charge rent per resident. They would like, this, according to their counsel, gives them time to come up with a long-term plan of finance beyond 2023, if the board were so to choose to entertain such a request in the future.
Okay.
And also, they're not seeking sales tax exemption at this time. They're operating all with their own funds.
So you said long-term on financing to continue the renovations. What's that number long-term?
Well, that's the plan that they're trying to put together right now. But they do need to, they're also exploring, there was a few points that needed to go into it to research. They were the possibility of expanding the units, but that also they needed to take into account zoning, if they would be compliant with the zoning, and then also health department, the water and sewage availability for additional capacity. So there's a few different factors going in. They don't really have, they're still looking into the number basically, but that's what this time frame would allow them to do.
While also operating under the current HUD agreement.
Exactly, yes.
Okay. So this resolution is simply to call a public hearing for this?
Correct.
Yes.
Yes.
I'll
And
make a mo-
additionally, they are contracting with the National Development Council
Oh,
to do
that's
an
right.
analysis.
Okay. Well,
I'll make a motion to call the public hearing.
okay.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Thank you. That would then bring us to Resolution 4221, if the numbers are right. And this is a similar type resolution, I guess, in terms of looking to issue a publication of a notice for public hearing. And in this case, with respect to 205 Osborne Avenue, which I believe is the applicant to build this new building, I think, on Osborne Avenue, is that right?
Correct,
Okay.
correct. So Peter Curry, Farrell Fritz, 400 RXR Plaza, Uniondale, New York. I'm here on behalf of 205 Osborne Avenue LLC. The principal of the company is here to answer any questions that you may have. First of all, I'd like to thank the board for allowing us to present today, and I'd also like to allow staff for the interaction that we've had up till now. I think the board is aware of G2D as a company, as it has another project in Riverhead right now that's under construction. It's also involved in projects in Huntington, Roslyn, and other places, Hicksville, other places on Long Island. It's a company that's doing a lot to address the shortage in multifamily rental housing. And I think the board, as you know, being aware of the existing project, is aware of the benefit that it's brought to Riverhead thus far. This project is at 205 Osborne Avenue. It fronts on both Osborne Avenue and Court Street. And right now, I'd like to show a map of where it's located, as well as a rendering of the building.
Again, you're right, you have to encourage to make a public hearing just so you're aware.
I have a much larger version of the rendering in front of me. As you can see, it's a 5-story mixed-use project. The current version of the plan, which has gone through a lot of interaction with the town, if you can see the 5th floor, it is now set back. It has resulted in fewer apartments, but we think a much better project. If you take a look at it, the 5th floor, by being set back, makes it a lot more attractive project. There are 37 market rate units, 3 studios, 24 one-bedroom, and 10 two-bedroom units. There will also be an office area of approximately 3,000 square feet and a gym for the residents on the first floor. As you're probably aware, the town has enacted the Railroad Avenue Urban Renewal Overlay District, where this project will be located. And to our mind, this is an instance of the town studying a situation that it found detrimental and creating a comprehensive solution to that. And the statute states that it's to allow, maintain, and foster a traditional downtown character to complement the character of Main Street, with transit-oriented development, a pedestrian-friendly streetscape, active ground floor uses, meaningful public spaces and uses, a 24-hour presence from upper story residential at an intensity similar to the DC-1 Main Street district. So this is the reason for the statute, the reasons for the town's action, and this project is a direct response to that. As you're aware, there is a real shortage of residential rental housing, both in the town of Riverhead and throughout Long Island. It's anticipated that approximately 64,000 residential units are anticipated to be constructed. And those include the ones from 2015 all the way to 2030. But even after that construction, there'll still be a shortage of approximately 94,000 units. So I presented a Camoin report together with the application. The Camoin report is a detailed study of the economic benefits of the project. And to sum up some of those, the construction costs that are shown in the Camoin report reflect an earlier understanding of approximately $11.6 million construction project. However, the costs have gone up by approximately $2 million since we were originally before this board and since we commissioned the Camoin report in September of this year. I think you're probably seeing that in all of these projects. So the anticipated benefit to the town and town spending goes up from the $7.6 million that was in that report to $8.8 million. The economic effect of the construction will be over $11.5 million. The annual spending will be over $1.7 million. So post-construction, this project is anticipated to support 12 net new jobs in the town with over $500,000 of new net earnings. So in connection with this application, we will be requesting a 10-year pilot. We'll be requesting a deviation similar to the pilot schedule that has been used for 331 East Main Street. We're also looking for a sales tax abatement and a partial mortgage tax abatement. And I'd like to open it up for any questions that you may have at this time.
All right, questions?
Not at this time.
This, by the way, this setback is much better than the original drawing, so this is a plus. Question.
I take complete credit for it.
You deserve the credit. So you said this is 12 jobs? This building is going to create 12 jobs?
That's primary, secondary, and
Oh,
induced,
okay.
yes. Yeah.
All right, so here's my question, and I can appreciate the study that was done. This is for market rate, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay, all right, so here's my question, and what happens, and I'm just gonna give like, Debbie Downer scenario, that you cannot get market rate, what do you do?
Well, you can always get a market rate. Basically, you can just price your apartment in order to fill it. I mean, any owner has the decision, do I leave it vacant for a few months in the hope that somebody will come down and is willing to pay what I would like to charge? But it's market rate. So there are no restrictions, and therefore you just keep marketing your apartment until you find a resident.
Related to that, maybe indirectly, just in terms of these apartments, the studios, there's not many, there's only 3, mostly 1-bedrooms and then 2-bedrooms. What's the approximate size of these units in square footage terms?
Defer to the client on that?
I mean, I don't need specific, but a target square footage on the unit sizes? They might be all over the map, I don't know.
Hi, Greg DeRosa, 36 New York Avenue, Hale Site, Huntington. The approximate size ranges from about 980 square feet to 1,100 feet, and some of the units on the 5th floor have an additional 150 square feet of outdoor balcony space.
Okay.
There's not one 3-bedroom in the development. They're all 2s, 1s, and I think we have 3 studios.
But are you saying your studios are going to be 980 square feet?
The studios will be about 700 square feet, 750,
Okay.
thereabouts. They're really small 1-bedrooms.
The studio, yeah, I
Yeah.
know what you mean, yeah. Okay.
To answer your question about the market rent, we find the residential market to be pretty liquid, and there's always a bid for high-end market rate units, and it's to the point that Peter was making. There's such a lack of supply in all the markets that we develop and build in. So we're very confident that we'll get, close to what we expect in terms of our rent projections.
Okay.
What is the status of the project currently, Pete? And
It's
with the town board?
It's going through the approval process.
Right.
It's fairly close.
We're scheduled to have a public hearing. You want me to get back up?
Sure.
I'm just curious. I've read a lot about it, but I don't know what
So, we've worked very closely with the town, and you're right. The latest rendering and the latest elevations, which was input that we received from the town to set back the fifth floor, was really a nice improvement to the project. So I was really happy to see that. We encouraged the input, and we're slated to be on for public hearing December 7th.
December 7th.
Yeah, after that, we would then move to preliminary site plan approval. So,
Okay.
So just one question while you're up here. I'm just curious, on the south side, and this could just be the angle of the drawing, is that 100% build out on the south side? Because it doesn't look like that on the west side.
okay, so can you just point out what you're...
Oh, sure. So the south side is the left side of the, I'm sorry, is facing you?
This side?
Yeah. So I'm talking about sidewalk, right? So is that 100% build out there?
No,
It's not.
there's a 4-foot sidewalk that wraps around the entire building, and then I don't have the site plan in front of me, but I
That's okay.
believe it gets wider in certain sections.
Thank you.
Right, so,
I'll make the motion to call the public hearing.
all
One
right,
second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much for your
Thank you very much
consideration.
for the presentation.
I think Bob.
Yes.
Yep.
That's the next. Now we're on 3821.
Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for coming in.
I don't even have one. Yeah.
Would you like one of these?
Yeah, thank
Here you go.
Is this an extra?
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
that's extra.
Right.
I'll give this right back to you.
That now brings us to
4321?
Resolution 4321, which is the early termination of financial assistance for PBMC. And you want to just walk us through that just quickly? Because I
Sure,
think we
so-
understand what that's about. but-
These bonds were issued for, I'm going to show my age, Central Suffolk Hospital,
We-
now known as Peconic Bay Medical Center. And so they approached the IDA about redeeming their existing bonds with the consent of the current bondholder as of December 1. They're going to get a bank loan to take out those bonds, so there's lower interest rate, and they don't need to have tax-exempt bonds outstanding. This is actually something that you're seeing the major hospital systems doing as they're looking to refinance right now at current low conventional bank loans. They don't need to go through the expense of tax-exempt bonds. It also relieves them of some of the restrictions that they would have imposed on the operation of the hospital, particularly with doctors' groups and other people coming in operating labs and so forth, not having tax-exempt bonds outstanding. So this is something we're seeing all across Long Island and all across New York State, where banks are refinancing, the hospital systems are refinancing with bank loans. So they're just, so the banks have all agreed, and so there'll just be a termination agreement among the existing bank, the hospital, and the IDA.
And there's no early payment penalty, no
no,
termination
no.
penalty
The
for
bonds
the
are-
hospital?
There was an interest reset date on December 1, so it was like a perfect time to do it.
Okay. And then in terms of our administratively, do they pay for your,
They'll
Yeah,
pay-
attorney's
we
fees
have,
and everything?
Yeah, we have a
IDS fees
fee.
good. And then, as part of that, because they were a project for 11 months of this calendar year, they will still be reported on Paris next year.
Paris this year.
So as part of the termination agreement, we'll get all the information that Tracy would have normally received at the beginning of next year, we'll get it now. So we have it, so she has it for her file, and then she'll report that as a terminated project.
Right.
But that will be a notable reduction in our employment numbers.
Right.
They're a high employer, so.
Okay,
Okay.
I'll make the motion to authorize the early termination of financial assistance for Peconic Bay.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
There we go. And I think that brings us to the executive director's report.
Which
Something
is-
we wait for every month.
Which is nothing. I think
We
I
have no
did, I
report,
think
which
I did enough in the last month that I couldn't fit any more in.
Well then, if there's no executive director's report, then I will ask for a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
At 5:45.
5:45.
And we have LDC meeting, yes.
Yes,
Do.
do.
I'm really impressed with the fact that they set back the top floor.
Yeah, it looks
Right.
really nice.
The green light's still on, do we?
We're-
Yeah,
we have another
the
meeting.
LDC
Another
meeting.
Oh, we do? Oh, good.
I'd like to call to order the Riverhead IDA Economic Job Development Corporation Board meeting on November 8th, 2021 at
5:45.
I got this clock, 5:46 PM.
Stickler.
Well, it's a town clock, you gotta run with that.
I would never use that one.
Well, what can I say? And I'd like to ask if everyone's reviewed the agenda, and if so, I'd like a motion to adopt the proposed agenda.
I'll move.
A second?
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that's an adoption of the proposed agenda, and now we will turn to the minutes from our last meeting, which was on September 14th, 2021.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
That brings us to the committee reports, of which there are none. And then that brings us to old business, which is the consideration of the proposed 2022 budget, Resolution 17-21. Any comments on the proposed budget for the LDC?
No.
None from the treasurer?
No.
It's a whopper.
Might we-
It's a
might
big
we-
budget.
Might we
It's a
have the-
whopper.
might we have the treasurer's report on the LDC at this time?
Is there another car outside? Yes,
There was a report in the,
Yes, there is.
I have it.
and I didn't put it on the agenda, so I apologize.
Okay.
So the balance in the LDC account on October 31st, 2021 was $758.73. Activity for the month included interest of 0.05% was credited to the account on October 29th, 2021.
All right, thank you very much, Bob. Now, there is no new business.
We have to, I think we have to vote on the budget.
Yeah.
Oh, but we have to vote on our budget. You're absolutely right. Let's vote on the budget.
I'll
Any
make the
discussion?
motion.
Make a motion?
I'll second.
All
Who
in
did that,
favor?
Bob?
I made the
Anthony did-
motion, Bob second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried, budget adopted. No new business, and it's now time to adjourn. I'm asking for a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We adjourn the meeting at 5:48 PM.